actually buying coffee is one of the best things.
Why?
It's true.
It's really one. Even now, as a senior person, the first thing I find out is what coffee my boss likes.
Yeah.
But why is it good? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of UOKORNOT with your host Amirul and Jael. Hi!
I was glad to have you guys here on our never-ending pursuits to discover, uncover, and also gather individuals from various different trades, and to give you guys angles and advantages, insight into the career world.
Yeah, and also a big shout out to SCAPE for always supporting our shows.
Yes. We are
Yay.
skip.
Let's go SCAPE!
And we're here now.
Yeah, okay.
So in today's episode, it's actually very special because it's Youth Day,
Oh,
right?
Youth, it's so hard being a youth nowadays.
Like what kind of problems are youths facing, right? Until you're also so stressed.
I mean, like now, like the pressure to become adulting, like the career is so different compared to last time. I feel, yeah.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah,
Don't know if
also
it's
adults
true.
also hard lah, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
I want adult day. I want adult day. How come you all got youth day? I don't have.
Adult
day.
they have.
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Wow.
Labor Day.
You're labor every day.
Eh,
So we
don't
celebrate
have
that.
Hard work.
It's actually Youth Month.
Youth month.
Yes, it
July
is.
is the month of the youths.
So luckily today, our guest here loves to help fuel dreams, yet to be grounded in reality. In fact, she has been helping the youth cope with this fast-paced world and give shape to the future that you seek.
Oh, slay.
Yes, let's welcome Jael!
Hey, hello.
Why did you start My Working Title?
Yeah, so like, I mean, I feel because it is really like, I remember when I was young, I was like, wow, what do I do with my life? Because last time don't have so much internet, So, and there's not so much information online and all that. We're really, really struggling to try and find my path. So, but in general, I've spent 10 years in marketing and then another 10 years in what I call people development. So along the way, I discovered this thing I really like. It's called design thinking. So it's an innovation method from Stanford and IDEO. It really helps, it helped me actually, it changed my life in a sense that it helped me understand and have a better relationship with failure. So it's like you discover, you ideate and you prototype. Prototype means experiment.
Right.
And sometimes you fail, but it's okay, you learn from it. So that really helped me. And I thought, hey, why don't I just use that to apply it to, say, career design, organization design, whatever design that helps people to move forward. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons.
I think design thinking is really good because it's a never-ending process actually. It just keeps going back and it will go back until you develop something that you actually want, is your end goal.
Yeah. It's true. I like that. And most people, young people, even like middle-aged and older people will come and tell me,
Right.
I'm very lost, I don't know what to do. Then I'm like, great, perfect. Let's try and test out, and then you see whether you like it or not, and then you can continue or not. Yeah.
So right now, we actually have results for a poll. The results are actually quite interesting.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So, like for example, the first question, right? They ask, would you rather follow your passion or be realistic? And the results for this is that passion is at 67%.
Same.
Okay, let's do a number appear here. 67%. And then we have realistic at 33%. Okay. And then the next question is that what is your priority in a job? Right? So
Right. There's 4 options here.
yeah, there's 4 options.
High salary, work-life balance, widen networking, and also gain experience.
Right.
So, I
Very
see
interesting
the
results.
work-life balance is on a higher scale compared to the rest.
So as a bit older, right? So I will think about, how can I not burst the dreams, and poke the bubble of a young person? Because that kills you, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, how can you have the head in the clouds, feet on the ground, and then hands to do stuff?
Hence the balance here, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, you want a high salary and work-life balance. That's more like, I feel like a destination, right? Like a outcome.
Right.
But the widen network and gain experience actually is a process.
I agree.
So my question to young people is like, oh, you want everything? Okay, very good. How you going to get there? Then they look at me, don't know. Then I'm like,
If you ask me at 20, I'm like,
yeah.
What's that?
I just want more money.
Yeah. This poll also not bad. Actually, they give you the destination and the process.
At the same time,
Yeah, high salary and work-life balance. Okay, then you have to also figure out how to widen your network and gain experience. If you don't you don't gain experience, who's going to give you money?
Yes.
Like, what's the value
Yeah.
as a young person you bring to the organization? I think that's a big thing.
Actually, I ask you lah. When the poll here said, right, would you rather follow your passion or be realistic, right? Where would you be? Passion or realism?
Like, I really prefer passion. Because
Okay.
passion is what drives me to become like happy and do the things I love. Like ever since I was young, my parents always asked me to focus on the things that make me happy. There's no point in working a 9 to 5 job that will make you happy, but it will still give you a good salary. Like you'll just be dreading your life. You'll always be sad. You'll always be gloomy. You'll never be happy. Yeah. But then if you're going to do things you love, even though it won't make as much money as like another job compared to like a lawyer or doctor, right? You're still doing things you love, and when you're doing things you love, right, that's where the money flows, because when you network with more people, you also like you can gain money and experience from them too. Yeah, but it's not only a one communication kind of like relationship you have with your networks, but you bounce off each other, you learn from each other, and that's where your career slowly grows. And I always believe that through adulting and through your networks, right, you can always grow to become a better person, not only for yourself but also for the people around you. And you know the saying like you birds of the same feather flock together or something.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Yeah, and then we all can be happy together. And I mean, not to set aside the realistic side of things. Like there's also like money and the goals that you have to work towards.
So I just wanted to also bring it to like what do you define passion as? Is it a craft? Is it a strength? Is it an interest? Right? So those are the, what do you think? How do you define passion? Because passion is like, wow, this very loaded word. It's like everybody got different definition, but you think, oh, just passion. Then
It's very saturated word.
yeah, then all the young
Actually,
people are
it's
like, I need to find my passion. The adults, I need to find my passion. Then no passion, I die. So it's also like every time, wow, very loaded. Can we just break it down? So maybe I want to hear from you. What maybe you come from you.
Actually,
What's
no.
your idea of passion?
What's passion to
what's
you?
passion to you? Yeah.
Because the question I had initially, right, was like, would starting your own business then be a good way to earn this high salary and achieve this work-life balance thing? Because that is my passion, right? Like I do want to like start my own business, earn high salary and have work-life balance, right? I would probably be part of that poll result, right? Then my question would then be if you haven't figured this particular thing out, right? Like how can they get there?
You know, sometimes even like you think you want to turn your passion into a business, sometimes it takes the joy out of it, to be frank, right? So
Yes.
so the question I always ask young people, you really want it to be a hobby or you want it to be a business? Because you run a business is a whole new set of things that you deal with. Yeah.
I get why Jill is saying that it's quite a wide topic because it differs from person to person. Okay, so for example, right, you guys are for example, you're working like a full-time job, right? And your full-time job is data analyst, for example, but you enjoy making coffee. So on the side, you're making coffee to enjoy it yourself, but then you decided to turn that into a business. So you're making coffees for maybe 50 or 100 people. Like, it's exhausting, right? But if you enjoy it, then why not? But if you are feeling like it's taking the joy out of it, then yeah, it's quite
It
tiring.
varies a lot,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, also, you talked about running a business. I think there's a lot of romantic notion about
Yes.
running a business. So I think it's great. I mean, all the Mark Zuckerberg, all the whatever, Jeff Bezos, I think that's great. And also a lot of stories in Singapore where, wow, Glyn's got this amount of money, Kinobi just raised a couple of $1 million or whatever, right? So there's a lot of this hype around it. So, but if you really look at the statistics, right? So E27, one of the tech publications in Singapore, they actually did a market research in Singapore. 30% of Singaporean startups fail within 2 to 5 years.
Ooh.
And only 25% of new companies survive 15 years. So running your own business is actually very hard, to be very frank. So if you ask I challenge you all, go and talk to entrepreneurs, right? If you work very hard, right, you want work-life balance, you ask whether they got work-life balance or not. Actually, a lot of them say they work even harder. It's like even 24/7. And if you start the business, right, you assume it will survive, then you will get some money the first few years, but you assume you want to get high salary. Sometimes, honestly, you work for other people, you get more, okay? And if your passion is your business, right, sometimes you actually lose interest in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All entrepreneurs always fail before they actually become successful. What?
Yeah, that's
Right.
very common. That's very, very common,
Yeah.
especially in the US. And US celebrates the failure. They're like, how many times you failed?
10,000 times!
Then in Singapore, you're like, huh, you fail ah? You know? So we are also fighting with that narrative, fighting with that tension within ourselves. Then got parents, then got
Parents
friends,
stress
right?
you.
So I think all things considered, you really need to think through how you want to go ahead. Yeah.
So for you guys out there, maybe you can comment down on the section below, on the comment section below. Let us know, like, what are your thoughts about being an entrepreneur yourself? What do you think are some of the troubles or obstacles that you may face as an entrepreneur? And we also really like to know, right, what is your passion?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think everybody's passion is to be an entrepreneur, lah,
Yeah.
right?
But then
Some-
if you're aspiring entrepreneur, right, and like after listening to what we said, right, do you still want to be an entrepreneur? What do you think about it?
Jill, burst your bubble.
I burst it first.
No, please. Like I said, go and live your dreams, go and have your dreams. At the same time, have the head in the clouds, feet on the ground, hands to do stuff.
Nice.
So internships, it's one of the best ways to go and try out what this real world is like. So it's like going to another country. It's like school, right? And work is like traveling from, say, Singapore to Japan. It's a different culture. They speak different language. They do things differently. And then you're like, so what am I supposed to do? So I always say, when you go to work for internship, right, think that you are going to another country. So how can you adapt to that country? So that's one of the thoughts.
A lot of my friends have been telling me their internship experiences because in poly, like, internship is a compulsory compulsory like path to take in like our final year. And a lot of them have different experiences. Some have been really successful. They learn a lot. They gain new experiences, new networks. But then there's another end of the spectrum where I have friends who be like, actually they give me like dog work to do. Like, I'm feeling exploited to do work because they're being treated like assistants,
Like,
or like,
make my
go get
coffee,
or print this, print that. And
shred this
they're
paper.
not, yeah, and they're not actually gaining like any new experiences. So what do you think of like this side of the spectrum where they're not actually growing through internships? What do you think of that?
What is your mindset about internships, right? Is it like, I just go there and just chill and then, like, just pass can already, right?
Do for GPA.
Yeah, then okay lah, never mind, can. Or you're there, you're like, hey, I'm really like wanting to learn, I want to grow, I want to understand how it works so that it will really bring out something in me. And I want to discover my purpose or discover how things work and what am I interested in, what am I good at. So some of the things to think about as you go into internships.
Yeah. Okay. So for example, you want to be in the media field and you're studying media, and then you go into the internship, you really got that, the company that you want to go to.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you'll be very motivated to do everything they ask you to do, right? Just so that you can get the experience.
And get it in your portfolio.
Yeah. And then, as you guys mentioned previously, there will be a spectrum that wants to do the internship so that they can graduate. Right? Then you really need to ask yourself, did you proactively pick the internship that you wanted?
Hey, some people, they don't even get to pick so how?
So I think it's more of like training your mindset. It's like, since I'm here,
Oh.
since I'm in this company, might as well I learn something. Right?
Hey, actually, yeah.
Right? Like if, let's say for example your senior is asking you to make coffee or shred paper or something like that, right?
Go shred the paper.
You're like, sure, I shred the paper, but you must teach me something.
Hey, Uno reverse card on your supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah, just want to add on that, right? So like it's the internal mindset of what you think all these things are, right? Even now, when I go back to work or in my past jobs, right, even as a senior person, the first thing I find out is what coffee my boss likes.
Yeah.
But why is it good? Why is it good?
Because it is a tool for relationship building,
Yes.
right? So it's understanding that, and you, by doing things, you are also demonstrating that you're a team player and hey, I can support you, man, So that is the value of buying coffee. So it's not about the coffee.
Correct.
Then, okay, if you're gonna, like, they give you Excel sheet, right, ask you to clean the data lah or whatever, then you're like, wow, why you make me those kind of, like, menial work, right? But actually, it's a great opportunity for you to find out what the company does. Like, what kind of customers the people have, what kind of, like, things do they do? What? And then from there, you're like, oh, this is what the industry is all about.
Yeah.
So how do you take something like
Right.
so menial, right? But like think about the value that you can get out of it. And also like what Ami said, right? Hey, so I did this. Can you share with me how this is going to be used? Can you tell me a little bit more about the company? You have a card that you can say, I bring value to the company. Can you give me some value, right?
Yeah.
I think sometimes my friends in my age group, they're like, wow, these interns all want something but don't want to give us anything. Like, you all just came out from school. Then honestly, I appreciate your energy in studying very hard. And I know it's very hard. I studied very hard. But to a corporate person, right, sometimes I'm like, your theory and the practice is a bit different. I need you all to bring value. And not keep asking me to give you value when you're not giving me as much value.
Yeah.
So that's something we struggle with really, really.
Yeah, actually, I want to share my personal experience
Yeah, go for
as
it.
a poly intern. So, like, aside from the coffee stuff, right, I think I had a really fulfilling poly internship. So, I internship at this well-known flower company in Singapore. And even though, like, they did give me stuff to do, and, like, it's like, Photoshop, just the regular things, and, like, go for photo shoots, help to take photos. Like, to me, I was like, okay, I'm doing new stuff, but also like, I want to do more. I had this great idea because before internship, there was like a bit of buffer time to do stuff. And then within this buffer time, right, I actually learned how to make Instagram filters.
Wow.
And then I was like, I went to my supervisor, my boss. Hi boss, actually can I like implement something? I want to propose something. Then she was like, okay, what is it? But actually, I have an idea. Can we make like an Instagram filter for our company's Instagram, so we can like have more engagement and like more like can bring the Instagram to a bigger audience through the Instagram filter, because at the point of time, Instagram filters are like booming in the market, and then through the filters, right, people actually get more followers and more engagement. And then she was like, okay, go ahead. So I did like what type of flower are you filter, and then like there's different flowers with different meanings, and it will depict like your definition of what kind of flower you are. And then actually through that, I had like a good number of like engagement through our filter, and my boss really loved it, and I think because of that, I got like a really good grade for my internship.
Wow, excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great example of bringing value to a company, right? So sometimes, good job, right? So sometimes the question I get is like, I want, but like, what are you giving, right? And you want more, you want to don't buy coffee, you want to don't do Excel sheets, then what can I trust you, right?
Yeah.
If I can trust you with a small thing, I can give you more things, right? So my question to you is, what are you bringing to the table? What are you doing to get the trust of your employers? So I used to have an intern, that one story also, She got 2 interns, So one of them was more steady, so we gave her a bit more difficult things like money stuff and all that. She came to us, excuse me, why am I doing more work than the other intern? Then I was like, But I like it in that she didn't ask like, hey, why I do more work? But she asked me, why? So I answered her nicely. I said, hey, because we trust you more. I think we think you have a bit more steadiness and more focus. That's why we give you something so sensitive to do. Then she, right? So is you want to do more stuff? Can. Show us, you can deal with it. So if you can't even buy coffee, you can't get my orders right. Sorry, I'm not gonna give you like other things to do,
Just remember Jail's story, a tale of 2 interns.
If you think you are being exploited, please go to organizations like Young NTUC or that and seek help and find out really, are you really being exploited? If you are, then you can lodge a complaint, etc. But also find out whether that is a reasonable expectation. Because I also know of interns who just do work a bit every day. I want to sue the company. Then we like, friend. First, go to your supervisors. They have ran internships for years. They know whether you are being exploited or not. So please talk to them. Please ask them, hey, am I being exploited? Is this too much? Is this too little? Right? So assuming it is too much, really, really over the board, can you negotiate with the organization and say, hey, let your supervisor do it. Like, can you bring it down? Can you make it more like sane, right? Then in the case it doesn't work, maybe you can talk to your supervisor. Is there a way we can bring it to, say, some organizations like Young NTUC, etc.?
Know your worth.
So supervisor first, and then?
Supervisor go through supervisor, mediate with the company. If not, then ask supervisor need to escalate or not.
So that's the process down for you. some people might be thinking, or some youth might be thinking, it's like, exploitation in a sense whereby I don't get to do what I want to pursue. Is that considered exploitation, or so
maybe
they,
not exploitation, just different expectations.
Yeah, different
So
expectations.
maybe Joe, I ask you, if you didn't get this floral company, right?
Flower company.
Then you get this company you don't like. How do you deal with it? How would you deal with it?
I think because of my personality, right, I'm very like extroverted and like very honest one, very like I'm very passionate in what I do. So I think I will try my best to like reach out to my supervisor and say like, actually can I try this instead? I want to help out with this. If they're not giving me work to do, you know what I mean? But if they're giving me work to do, then of course I'll just do it. And then once I do it and I do it to a good quality, a good standard, I think that's how I earn their trust, because that's how you build relationships in the industry.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
that being said, right, some people don't get the internship they want, right? So like maybe, I want to do business administration in the company, but I end up doing accounting or something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think that's part of growing up and adulting, right? Is accepting disappointments.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it started a bit earlier in terms of like, if let's say you want to go to this school, but you didn't get another school, right? So if I didn't get the internship I want, then I have to maybe ask myself, what is my why? Why am I wanting internship? What do I want to learn? Why did I study this media or marketing or whatever, right? Then in this opportunity, how can I learn the most? How can I go to the supervisor and share what you want or whatever, right?
I think because I have a mindset of like, I like to think of this quote, make the best out of everything. Yeah, so you always must try your best to get the best experience, even though if it's a sad scenario or it's a disappointing scenario where you didn't want to be in, make the best out of it.
Yeah, so give yourself time to grieve in that sense, right? Like, okay, I really don't like this, and accept the emotion. Then once you do that, after you do that, it's like, okay, then what can I do to make the best out of it, right? So like, if they don't give you what you want in an internship, can you go and read? Can you learn? And can you maybe find new ways, and find, if you really, there's a will, there's a way. If you have that opportunity mindset, I give you a rock, you can turn the rock into a diamond.
I did not really enjoy the internship because it wasn't really what I wanted to do, right? But as you said, make the most out of it, or make the best out of it, right?
Sometimes what I hear from interns, like, wow, you pay me so little to do these things for you. I'm thinking, hey, very good already. We are actually paying you to learn stuff about the company. So one of the things, that's one possible way to think about it. And also you are learning a lot of what we call soft skills. It's actually not so soft, but they call it soft skills for that matter, right? It's super valuable. If you can master that, I throw you in any job, any industry, you can deal with it.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a famous saying on TikTok, word.
What?
Tough times never last.
Tough times never last.
Tough times never last. Tough people last. So it really goes down to what kind of person are you, right? So are you passionate to learn a new skill like Jill? Are you trying to get into your dream company, or do you need to fulfill a criteria to graduate like myself? Right? Trying to find, the right mindset to help you get through it, right?
After internships, like, what's the next step after you graduate, after internship? So like, should we like faster find a full-time job, or like just like, take a bit of a gap year? What do you think?
Like when people come and like, oh, what should I do with my life? Then I'm like, then I'm like, sorry, I'm not Yoda,
I'm not God.
Yeah, so because people like, I press one button, then I know what to do with my life. I'm like, I wish it was that easy. So what we did was like, as a coaching philosophy, typically we trust that you all have the answers. But what we do is create that frame and hold that space for you to think through what are the different factors, so that you can, in a very chim term, right, triangulate data. That means you take the different data, right, and then, this is what I want to try. Okay.
So chim.
So the not so chim part, right, is we call it career discovery model. So there are 4 things to discover. Okay. One is yourself. One is your story. One is your situation, and then what is your strategy. Okay. So I talk a bit about everything lah. Very short, fast.
I also want to know.
Yeah.
You know?
Fast game.
Yeah. So for yourself, right, you need to know more about your strengths, your skills, your personality. Like, you are very Chngster. Okay, you are the hustler. Okay, I will do it. So that is your strength, right? That is who you are. right? So, but if you're more introverted, if you are more like quiet, then what is that kind of energy that you want, and what makes you who you are, right? Then the second part is story, your why. Why do you want to do what you want to do, right? So for you, you want to start business. So I will ask also why you want to do that, right? And then why you want to hustle so hard. So what is the why? What motivates you, right? And different people are really motivated by all kinds of things. Some people's like, I want to look good in front of my mother. Some people is like, I want to prove to the world I can do this. Everyone have different reasons, which is fine. So it's discover that, right? And then you can, like you said, make the best out of it along that way. Then the third one is, this one is probably one of the harder things, is discover the situation. So this is where, firstly, like you can think about, does my family need me to give money, right? Those are very hard questions, right? Like, do I need to provide for my family? Like, is whatever I'm studying now very hot in demand? Is what I'm studying now, am I very good at it? So these are the very, very hard questions that you have to figure out. If not, it's like, your passion is a hobby.
The best time to answer these questions, right, is while you're still schooling, because you still have time, right? I remember, we sometimes have this thought, right? I wish I still back in school, because after school I can still sit down, talk to my friend, eat and stuff, right? You have that free time. Just put maybe
5 minutes, 10 minutes.
No, I mean it's more than that lah. Maybe an hour, 2 hours. Like you just sit down and reflect. Have a good cup of coffee, right? And then really think about it. Don't do it by yourself if you can't bounce ideas off, or you need people to bounce ideas off, right? Call your friend lah. Then it's mutually benefiting, right?
Yeah, it's like boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom.
because your friend is also like, I need to think about this and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you have the introvert who wants to drink coffee, which is fine, right? Then you also have the extrovert that go and talk to people, also fine. So what we call it, play, plan, and prototype. Play is go and discover. You plan, okay, I think I want to study because actually I don't need to pay for my parents' thing. I can do whatever I want. Okay, very good. Then I actually very good at marketing, and I'm very good at Instagram filters. Okay, I think I will try to be in marketing, and I find something I want to do. Then, but go and try go and test, right? Go and hustle, go and try a small project, go do stuff. And also there are people around that you can talk to, not just your friends, which is great because they know you and they can bounce off stuff. But in your schools, right, actually I know a lot of these people, they are your career services team.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you, you pay for career coaching after you leave school, right, is at least a few $100 an hour, right? They are sort of free for you, right? So go and talk to them, make an appointment, go and ask them, do all the tests, whatever. And then that's where you can make a better decision.
Oh no, I'm guilty. I never do, sia. Oh no.
You are
Actually,
the,
same,
you are
same.
the chuckster lah. It's okay. But for those who are like very lost one, please go and get some help. And not help lah, get some
Ideas.
Don't buy
then people are very lost. Then okay, you're very lost. Then please go and do something to find so that you don't be so lost.
All the lost sheep, go to your school's career service.
Yeah,
support.
and then take their data and then you find your own role lah. It's not that they tell you, then I must follow you.
It's
also,
free
right?
some more, right? It's free, like just go there,
Just
please.
go lah. You please say you don't tell your friends, you can go yourself.
Yeah.
After this episode, right, you suddenly see the ESG service outside.
Yeah, like something. Woo.
Why suddenly got one line?
Last time no line. Now you got line. Why? When you have already decided this, what you want to do, where you're trying to move and all that, right? There'll be two options, right? One is you make it on your own. You set something up for yourself, or you get yourself employed, right? And you work for a company and you grow in an organization or a family, some call it, right? But then there are trade-offs, right, for this? Like,
So
there's positives and there are trade-offs to that.
Yeah, so what are some of those?
What have you encountered? What do you think?
Like through what? I never worked full-time before that.
Your internship?
My industry?
Internship.
Internship.
Versus running your own hustle.
Like, okay, running my own hustle is like, have to sacrifice my time Then like, we don't know or not, like the revenue coming in, the income coming in or not. But then like, if you work like, 9 to 5, like, job, like, confirm got money. But whether or not you are using the best of your time, that's another story. Yeah.
So I've actually worked full-time before. It is very comfortable. You do get the money in, right? So there's like the sense of safety there. It's like, okay,
got money, confirm got money.
Yeah, and then when you go out and you do your own thing and you're living paycheck to paycheck, right? Like, oh, like you suddenly appreciate money more. Like when you spend, it's like, this is like one day of my time, 250. Or the next day I'm gonna spend this much and stuff. When you're working full time, you don't have to think about it because it's like one lump sum. The money comes in. Yeah. So I guess that's a mindset thing for me that I experienced.
Yeah, I think you all covered it quite well. And I probably maybe one thing to add is I mean in having lived it for the last 7 years, I find the entrepreneurship journey, the highs are very highs, the lows are very lows. Macam like roller coaster. Okay, you feel like, wow, when you get your first deal, you got into this client, whatever, then you're like, wow, very good. Then later the cash flow, how?
Yeah.
So really, it is a roller coaster. And if you are risk averse, you love that kind of ride, go for it, right? So at the same time, there are many days I'm like, I wish I had a paycheck.
Yeah.
That comes through my month, Or I wake up, I kena COVID, right? Then I'm like, wow, siao, who's going to do all those things, And I tell myself, I might just go sleep, never mind, it's okay, right? So, and I think I covered that a bit earlier, right? The whole like work-life balance. There's no work-life balance. It's 24/7, right? So there are many trade-offs, but there are also many like joys. You really, I think I experienced so much, like the roller coaster experience. Very excited, very low. And then I got this whole bunch of communities, right? It's like when you talk to entrepreneur, you're like, oh, I know, I feel you. I feel you, So there is also a very strong community around it. So, yeah.
Actually, I would encourage, like, if you guys are doing your own thing, right? Your own business, you're an entrepreneur, go and join a group of young entrepreneurs.
Who have the same mindset,
the same mindset.
goals.
Then you guys will have like notice like, oh, we are struggling with the same things, and at least you're validated lah.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
sometimes I when I chat with young people, there's this like either or. I don't have this, I die. I cannot. But I'm like, hey guys, there's angles, right? There's a spectrum, right? Accept the disappointment, accept the pain, but also find out make the best of what.
Make the best out of everything.
Yeah. So that's one perspective lah.
Maybe the youth need to have a bit more positivity in their lives.
Positivity. Sprinkle some for you here.
You cannot.
You cannot. Make sure you have some positivity in you right now.
Yeah, so just to add, right, it's not toxic positivity.
Yes.
It's also about generating possibilities. So earlier on, right, when I started the business, I called myself chief problem solver because I'm like, wow, I want to solve all your problems. Then later I think, cannot lah. Why do I call myself chief possibilities generator? Because it's really about like whatever you are faced with, whatever you dealt with, accept it, and at the same time generate possibilities for yourself and for the people around you. So I think that's so much more powerful.
Yeah.
It's really finding out what your skill is and what you like to do, and if you're not really good at what you do, maybe you can find other skills to stack on it, then provide value a certain way. And you don't have to feel scared about it or nervous about it, because we have a question, right? We have a question by a youth, and this question goes, how do I get out of the struggle with self-confidence and imposter syndrome?
Whoa, that's kind of deep.
Very deep topic.
Yeah. Jill, maybe you share a bit first.
How do you
I
get out of the struggle with self-confidence?
Okay, because I feel like I don't think I'm the right person to ask, because I'm the type of person who like I don't really care about what other people think about me. I'm just myself. I don't jump on a bandwagon because everyone else is on it. So I'm very different. So I don't think I struggle from like imposter. What is it?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah. I don't struggle from that because I believe that everyone is different and I'm different than them. So I just want to live my own life as who I want to be.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, how about yourself?
I do struggle with imposter syndrome myself. When you're hearing the inputs of 40 or 50-year-olds, you'd be like, oh, I'm only like, how old? So decade difference, they got more experience and stuff. So that's where the imposter syndrome comes in. And usually, from what I read, this is what I read, right? Imposter syndrome, it happens to people who have this mindset whereby they need to be high achieving, right? So it's not matching up to the pace or their expectations or something like that. So I'm more interested in like what your take is on this, because I'm very sure that you've run or you met a few individuals who gone through this.
Yeah, so we've been running this SCAPE Career Studio for the last 2 years with SCAPE, and it's like, wow, many times we get this like, imposter syndrome, self-confidence thingy, right? So like even for myself, I'm a little bit in between you all both. There are sometimes I'm like, yeah, I can do it, I'm awesome, I can write a book. Then there are days I'm like, what am I doing? Like you see, got other people older than you, right? I also got other people older than me, right? So there's always this like tension you're holding, right? Like, how can I be like, confident, but at the same time humble? How can I be really putting myself out there but not being too brash, so there's always that whole thing, and it comes down to a lot of what we call identity, right? So that's who you are, what you anchor yourself on, and I think that's a very big deep question. On a lighter note, and what can you do, right? So if you don't have self-confidence, you feel imposter, then how can you increase that confidence?
Practice. I mean, that's the thing that comes to my practice. Yeah. Winning awards, maybe validation for that.
Maybe validation.
But it might feel that that disparity and that.
I mean, on that is a very good goal. In like smaller steps, right?
Yeah.
Possibly is like finding friends that are your cheerleaders.
Ah.
So if you need
That one
cheerleaders,
easier.
please
That one
call her. She's like, woohoo, right?
Slay! I'll be your personal cheerleader.
Yeah, find people that like feel your energy, encourage you and all that, and then get better lah, right? Like you said, get better, right? If you're like, I don't know whether I'm good enough, like right now I'm trying to write a book, right? Then I'm like, how to write, So I call people, talk to Victor, talk to whoever, right? And then like, how to write a book, Then they give me ideas. So you just get better at it, and once you get better at it, you get more confidence naturally.
Yeah.
And then the imposter syndrome will also go away, right? Because the imposter syndrome technically is an expectation of where you think you are and where people think you should be, or where you think you should be. And how do you close the gap? Yeah. So I'm giving you a lot of analytical thinking because usually it's very emotional. So like, how do you just really do something and close the gap? I am not what I do. I am not my success. I am not my failure. Wow, it's very hard for Singaporeans
To accept the fact lah.
Yeah. But if your identity is based on other things and a wider piece of things, a portfolio or repertoire, then you don't feel like, wow, if I fail in this, I'm crushed, I'm nothing. Right? So I think that is the root of imposter syndrome.
We need to normalize failures.
Singaporeans, please, you have to normalize failures. That's where you grow the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my goals, right, is to improve my relationship with failure. Right? And I've just read this book called The Growth Mindset. I think we heard it a million times everywhere, in school, whatever. And when I read the book, I'm like, wow. So if you really am struggling at this, really encourage you all to just pick up the book, Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck. Wow, it really helped me think about failure in such a different dimension.
You got a book?
I have it not here lah.
Oh.
At home.
If not, can flash.
Can flash
You cut in you put a
put.
If you guys are looking for possibilities, your own possibilities, your own opportunities as well, you can join the SCAPE Telegram group.
Or I'll go follow SCAPE's Instagram.
You can follow the Instagram.
That's easy. Just on social media.
To get more info, because I'm very sure they update the group. with
pretty
all the
sure.
infos and all that.
Yeah, and we can discover more, experience more through SCAPE. Yeah.
Then you come see us.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we have come to the end of our show. Thank you so much, Jill, for coaching us today.
I really feel like coaching experience. Oh my gosh. Free one some more.
I feel
for you guys
younger.
also.
Woo.
Yeah.
We really give you free insight, so don't waste it, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So any shout outs for the audience we have today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really is about, design your career. Just keep exploring, keep finding out your why. Don't be stuck in your emotions and really give what you have to the world, because people really want you and people really want to see you shine and bloom.
All right. Guys, don't forget to share your stories. Your failures, your successes, your internship experiences in the comment section below.
Or just share whatever you want.
Or other
in the
questions.
comments. Yeah.
We will definitely bring it into the next show.
Yeah, definitely.
We will also like to thank SCAPE once again for supporting the show today.
Yes, thank you, SCAPE.
Thank you. And I hope to see you guys in the next episode. The episodes that are coming up after this is going to cover all the different
aspects in career.
Yeah, experts in career, different jobs, very interesting people.
Yeah. So do stay tuned to our podcast and our following episodes.
Only on UOKORNOT. See you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.